Tune in every Monday and Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time for Straight Talk with Matt Hasley. Live audio on TuneIn Radio and Spreaker.com. Plus live video on Ustream.tv. From the demented minds at ArmedRadioGlobal.com.
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over till we decide it is. And it ain't over now. Because when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Any questions here? Any questions here? Let's get it on.
It is Monday night, time for some Straight Talk. This is your host, Matt Hasley, coming at you. We, tons of stuff in the news. I can't believe it's stuff to talk about. Baseball just got over. My Cubs won. I wouldn't say my Cubs, but I mean, I'm a fan of the Cubs, so I call them my team. If you want to interact with the show, you can do so multiple ways. You can reach me on Twitter. Hashtag a tweet, Arm Radio. I'll see it pop up on the tweet deck. You can call in live at 1-866-225-5401. So, multiple ways. You can see us. We got multiple platforms. You want to watch live. I don't know why you'd want to do that. But if you want to watch live, you can catch me on Ustream.tv and search Straight Talk with Matt Hasley, or you can hear it on TuneIn.com or Spreaker Podcast. The podcast is live, but you can also download it later. Oh, my wife's coming to come on the show. She's in her robe, all decked out. Come here. She's ignoring me, like always. So she just gave me a little smirk smile, like, yeah, whatever. No, a lot of things going on in the news. I mean, it seems like with all the, sports and everything going on, I try to catch a few things to get out of watching what's going on in politics. Because that's like a never-ending. But they seem like they're starting to mesh together, and I'll get into that in a little bit here. But NFL, they're wanting to stop their problem with their ratings. They got eroding ratings. Probably the worst it's been in the last 10 or 15 years. So they thought, maybe we'll shorten up the games, and or we'll cut out some of the commercials. And I'm all for cutting out the commercials. It seems like the stoppage is way too often. But the thing is, you're going to go from 15-minute quarters to what? 12-minute quarters or whatever? Really? Turn it to a 48-minute game or what? I just think that they're missing the point of why the ratings are dropping. And I was listening to The Factor with Bill O'Reilly, and Bill O'Reilly said a classic example of why. And he was on with Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. Smith was like, "Oh, no, you don't know what you're, and he's arguing with him, and Bill O'Reilly says, "Hey, it's a business. The owner needs to sit there and tell this guy, hey, you either need to do this, this is you're insulting our customers." And it's like if you own a restaurant, or you own a store, or if you own, I don't care where it is, you own a bank, and you're in charge, and you got employees sitting there pissing off the customers as they come in every time. How long is he going to keep his job? Or she? And that's the point of it. When you start costing the business money, that's when you become where you need to do is either have discipline done to you or they need to talk with you about it. Because that's what's happening. Seattle's doing it the right way. Seattle's linking arms. They're showing unity. They're not pissing everybody off. These guys don't realize. Yeah, they're going, oh, well, they have the right for their freedom expression. Well, they're kind of really cutting their own throat when they do it, because people that buy tickets and people that watch games and people that buy products that do the advertising for people to watch these games are the customers that they're making mad. So if you make these people mad and they stop watching, stop buying products, people stop advertising, stop going to the games, well, you're not going to get paid those multi-million-dollar salaries to play a game. And that's what I think they're missing the point of. It's not about whether you feel society is wrong or right to you. It's a business to the NFL. If you have a grievance or whatever, go to your state and local government. Stand up there. Get people behind you. Protest, whatever. Do whatever it is. But Stephen A. Smith even said he was so upset with Colin Kaepernick, who started this, kneeling. He didn't even go vote. That's your civic duty. It's where you can use it to make change, to help bring across change. And that's what happened with the Trump vote. People were so tired of the status quo. Everything. Oh, he doesn't have any time in politics. He won't know how to play the game. That's why people voted for him. They voted for him because he was going to blow up the system. He's going to go about it a totally different way. It's been going on for so long. He's a guy that it didn't need the money. He even forego his salary. So that's the problem where, this Colin Kaepernick, credit to him that he's trying to bring change, but he doesn't even go vote. And you go, well, it doesn't make a difference anyway. Yes, it does. It does in the long run. If Martin Luther King said, well, it doesn't matter anyway, and didn't protest march peacefully, you would never see Martin Luther King burning cars and flipping them over and, writing, curse words on things. No. He had too much class for that. That's why he was so well respected. Once you start destroying other people's stuff, and what it is they're destroying their own stuff. And they just don't get it. They're marching along. They were so upset with Donald Trump. And don't want to get into that right yet, but I want to talk about NFL. Last night, Gronkowski in this. It was a great game all the way to the end. I could have went either way. Could have been a holding call. They didn't call it. I don't know if that would end up winning the game for him. I just thought, it was a great game between Seattle and New England. But Gronkowski apparently has a punctured lung, might miss a game. And it apparently occurred at the very end. So, also, my Bears, Cutler was right back in rare form, right back to where he was at. You look at, he was Typical Cutler. I don't know what he had, 2 touchdown passes, 1 to each team. Frustrating to watch. Dallas. Wow. Where'd Dallas come from? Dallas, they look like they're going to lose, and all of a sudden, that running back they got is unbelievable. So, yeah, and that really ticks off some people because a lot of people, always hate because they call them America's team and really just tick people off. If you're not a Cowboy fan, I mean, I get along with, I don't have any problems with the Cowboys because I lived in Texas for so long. They're about the second team I like to watch, win. Besides the Bears, but Bears are pretty much done for. I'm hoping for draft picks. Problem is I think they got 2 wins already this season, and I think, what is it? The Browns have 0-10, and I'm like, oh, come on. The Bears can't even get the top draft pick because they got too good a record. So I think it's time for them to draft a phenom quarterback if they can get a hold of one, because they I don't know. They just don't seem like they get along, or Cutler just does not fit the mold for them. Looking at NBA. NBA's been going on for a couple weeks. But they had the Cleveland Cavaliers at the White House. And it was one of the last, it was the last time that the Obama administration will have, the NBA team at the White House. And it's kind of customary. But according to an article, and this is according to Jalen Rose, ESPN analyst, former NBA player, says we should expect players from pro sports teams that are invited to the White House for presidential recognition to skip the festivities under Donald Trump presidency. That's if he invites them. But I'm like, it's speculating on how the election will affect the NBA and sports in general. Rose said on NBA Count on Wednesday, what we're going to see in professional sports, NBA and NFL, mark my words, there will be players that decline the opportunity to visit the White House under his presidency. And that's a lot of players will take that right, concurred fellow analyst Chauncey Billups. So I understand it's their right whether they want to go to the White House or not. If I were Trump, I wouldn't invite him at all. I said it's ridiculous. I said, you think about it. This is a media hype, and Clinton's campaign slogan that Donald Trump is a racist. I don't think he's racist at all. And you look back in the past, even Farrakhan, Louis Farrakhan backed Trump in the election. They paint him as a racist because that's the last thing they can do to try to get people that don't pay attention, that only catch the fringe media, and they hear, Trump's a racist. Well, they don't check to see if it has any credence to it at all. They just go, okay, you're right. Yeah, he is a racist. But if you look in the past, there's plenty of times where Donald Trump has done things for the black community and they don't get acknowledged. It's ignored. These young kids don't understand that. Or don't see it, and they don't care to. It's, they don't, they don't care to be educated in that part of, they'd rather just listen and let somebody else tell them. They read the first bit of an article, but they don't read the very end of it. There was an article by, Amy Schumer. And it was talking about, it was a BS article about how Trump had did all these racist things. And it goes, yeah, at the very end it says, yeah, of course this article is fake, but, but nobody reads that part. They all read the part where it talks about, and it should be slander, because the reason why is you shouldn't have to search the article to determine whether it's fake or true. So, I mean, you look at you look at all the attacks he's just about all the media, now they're attacking. They're saying, oh, he's softening on his stances. Oh, no, he's his cabinet picks. And they try to tell him, well, he needs to do this. No, I'm sorry, but he doesn't need to do that. That's his choice. But the one thing that I saw that really probably was very irritating. I got, actually a couple things, but this one is two presidential electors, two Democrat members of the Electoral College have launched a campaign to keep President-elect Donald Trump from entering the White House, according to a new report. It said Washington's Brett Schafalo and Colorado's Michael Baca hope at least 37 of their GOP colleagues will abandon Trump and force the House into picking the next president instead. The Politico said their pair, so-called moral electors movement, has already found one backer in Washington, Robert Satiacum. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Satiacum. This is a long shot, Schafalo told Politico in a phone interview Monday. It's a Hail Mary. However, I do see a situation where we've already had 2 or 3 Republican electors state publicly they didn't want to vote for Trump. It says, how many of them have a real issue with Trump in private? I could see this being probably, if this happened, and it says Trump claimed 290. No, actually, Trump claimed over 300. So he actually at 306. And Clinton's at 228. So, I mean, they need 36 of them, actually 37, to get them to drop below the 270. It's, I think if they did that, you think their protests are bad now? I think that would be a nightmare scenario. And I think that's what they want. I think if they, I think you might see a civil war out of this. These people are protesting on the streets. This might be the sign that that causes it to tip. You know, I talked about Baba Vanga. She's she's from Bulgaria. She was in a huge storm when she was a young kid, blind from then on. They've done multiple surgeries to try to get it where she can open her eyes. She can't open her eyes. Her eyes are like sealed shut. But she's had these visions. And she had different visions. She predicted the 9/11 attack. She said the U.S. will, and it said something about the U.S. pride will be under attack by steel birds. And she also predicted President Barack Obama being elected president. And she also said he would be our last president. There's been some that she's gotten wrong. And I think that this would be, hopefully this is wrong, because I'd hate to see it go to total anarchy. democratic process went through. Some people didn't like it. They were able to protest. Some sickening protests. Seeing signs about, they're talking about how Donald Trump, his comments 11 years ago, it offended us so much. The P-U-S-S-Y grabbing comment. And I see signs in the crowd, rape Melania. And I'm like, and it's trending on Twitter. And Twitter's not shutting it down. They shut you down on Twitter and Facebook if you fart the wrong direction against Islam or pretty much against, you call somebody a libtard or something like that. Kimberly Murray from Night Talk with Joe Rock, she's been in Facebook jail twice for calling somebody a libtard. And they can get away with rape Melania. I'm like, Trump was comments and they're taken out of context, and that these signs are all over and people are retweeting it and liking it. It just amazes me how they think that's okay. But it's okay. It's morally okay if we do it. But if Hillary Clinton gets up there with rapper Jay-Z and he talks about drugging women and doing, rapping about him being on Molly's, and all that. And we don't mean it. That's all just, just music. No. It's just amazing me how one side is okay and the other side, it's totally unacceptable. Well, Donald Trump has made two of his first picks. He picked Reince Priebus as his chief of staff and Stephen Bannon, who is was with Breitbart, as his chief strategist. So he's gotten a lot of comments and attacks about Bannon and Priebus being, he wants to get an outsider and he's so inside. It's really, they wouldn't. It wouldn't matter who they picked unless he picked all Democrats. And then he'd pick up. They'd be complaining about them because they're too left. It wouldn't matter who he picks. They're going to complain. So, and there's a tip that possibly former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani may be Secretary of State. And just my guess, if former Mayor Rudy Giuliani is Secretary of State, I would be confident that he would not have his own homebrew server that he would email classified information on. Just a guess. So, I think he'd be a good Secretary of State. It's about 400 positions that he has to do is fill. A lot of people. You think about that. And it's not just those positions. It's once you hire the heads of those positions, they have to hire people under them. A lot of work. I was talking about that earlier. Said there's really no housing in D.C., so you got to be able to commute hour and a half everywhere you go. Would it be cool to have that opportunity to work on a Trump presidency? Yes. It would just be just to, just the experience would be overwhelming. It's who else is he going to pick? Who knows? I'll be waiting just as patiently as everybody else. But since we've had this election results. And some people are happy with it. And some people aren't. But this is one that really got me. It says, Matt Harrigan. He is the CEO of Packet Sled. It's a risk management company. He's the CEO. Harrigan caused alarm when he took to Facebook to angrily announce his plan to kill Trump after a Republican was elected president. And he said he is going to kill President-elect, wrote Harrigan, adding, "Bring it, Secret Service." It says, he said that he was going to kill the president-elect. Somebody said, can but shouldn't. And then somebody else said, next you'll have the FBI. And he goes, bring it. And then he put it along, bring it, Secret Service. Very much so. And then he says, getting a sniper rifle and perching myself where it counts. Find a bedroom in the White House that suits you, MFer. I'll find you. And it says, the chain down is much better. I think California voted again. And then he said, in no uncertain terms, F you, America. Seriously, F off. And then somebody wrote below it, it says, in no uncertain terms, F you for being a whiny CEO of a successful startup. You take $5 million and continue your success as you drive your Land Rover into your home in a predominantly white coastal city called Del Mar, California. Watch what you say, because it's the people who cannot take the defeat that will be defeated. March on and thank God that a place in America exists. That is all. And it says, really, San Diego, go F yourself, San Diego. And then he goes, Harrington later issued an apology on Facebook claiming his words were a joke. But his colleagues at Packet Sled failed to see the funny side and they suspended him. I don't see that as a joke. I'm sorry, you don't say you're going to go get a sniper rifle and shoot the president. That's not a joke. It said Packet Sled takes recent comments made by CEO seriously. Once we were made aware of these comments, we immediately reported this information to the Secret Service and will cooperate fully with any inquiries. And the company announced on its website, these comments do not reflect the views or opinions of Packet Sled, its employees, investors, or partners. Our CEO has been placed on administrative leave. Should be terminated. I guarantee you, anybody, if they would have said that about President Obama, if they'd have said it about if Hillary was the president-elect, they'd be terminated. It's the social media websites have been flooding with death threats, targeting Trump in the aftermath of the election, while riots and attacks against Trump supporters also taking place in numerous cities. And they try to say that it's, since he's been elected, that there's been more attacks on Muslim immigrants. I'm sorry, it's been the other way around. Every day I see attacks for anybody that was a Trump supporter. There was a homeless person outside a gas station was beat to death by kids because he was a Trump supporter. They showed a guy who was drug out of his car and beaten because he was a Trump supporter. Then they stole his car. I mean, it's ridiculous to see the way they just go, I don't see it. Yep. But the problem is, it's professionally, a lot of it is professionally organized. It says blocks of anti-protest buses caught on tape. It says police reportedly charge anti-Trump protesters as Portland chaos continues. But it says They showed earlier that anti-Trump protests across the nation are spontaneous, involving people from all walks of life. According to WikiLeaks document, at least 2 of the people profiled by USA Today have a history of being professional agitators for the Democratic Party, whose task is to stir up popular protest, in extreme cases unleash rioting, such as the following protests in Portland. It says, courtesy of Zero Hedge Reader, they have visual confirmation of how a substantial portion of these professional paid protesters arrive at the site of the protest. In this case, it was Chicago. They have video 5 blocks west of the Chicago line with buses from Wisconsin, Badger bus lines, bringing in protesters. It says that happened in Austin, too. They brought in busloads of people. They actually had a little piece of paper instructing them how to protest. These are Soros-funded protests. They come out with their professional signs and everything. For, weeks, they kept asking Donald Trump, will you accept the results of the election? And they kept on him about it and on him about it. And they won't accept the results of the election. We got homes vandalized with anti-Trump messages, swastikas, and F whites die. There's Houston mom being investigated for kicking her 7-year-old son out of the house because he voted Trump in a mock election. They actually investigated the mother because she shared the video on Facebook and it went viral. How traumatic is that to a kid? You go live with your Trump supporter, whatever. Kicks him out. Yeah. Don't bother letting him form his own opinion. My son had a mock election. He told me he voted for Hillary Clinton. And I said, why? And he tried to say that reasons why he voted for Hillary Clinton. And I don't think he understands. He's 10. And I talked with him and let him tell me why. And I told him the reasons why. And I think it's because his mom doesn't like to listen to the news. And when she does, it's usually the news that's biased. It said, somebody asked a serious question. If they were all news organizations, why is it that they don't report the same story the same way? If they're unbiased, wouldn't they all report it the same way? Why do you tune into a certain news station? He said the reason why you do that is because they slant the media and the stories to where you like to hear it. They all do that. So, but, we call Cupcake Nation. I love that term, Cupcake Nation, because Cupcake Nation is in response to these kids, like these kids that walked out of school, high school, allowed them to walk out of a public school because they're protesting somebody that they're not old enough to vote for. Because they want to show their outrage. 99% of them aren't old enough to vote at all They should not be allowed to walk out of school. So, said Bernie Sanders come out and he said, Democrats lost election because they focused on elite and not the working class. And he stood up and he said they need to stop rioting. One of the first ones, or protesting and causing disturbances like that. Protest is fine, but when you start damaging stuff, that's when it's done. They need to do is bring in the National Guard or whatever it is they need to do and separate them all. All they're doing is allowing the media to flare it up even more. The more you cover it, the more they act up. People are burning New Balance sneakers because they heard the company whatever owners supported Trump. You can't even admit that you're a Trump supporter, then you're attacked. Think of the concept of that. That's why the polls were so bad. Is because you couldn't say that you were for Donald Trump because they attacked you. You got somebody that had a Trump bumper sticker in Chicago and he gets attacked, pulled out of his car and beaten. That doesn't happen to a Hillary supporter. I'm sorry. Are there stupid people that will attack gay people? Yes. Homophobic people? Yes. Is Donald Trump one of them? No. Are people misled to believe that the Republicans are all homophobic and xenophobic and Islamophobic? Yes. Do I care what religion you pray to? No. I don't care what religion you pray to. I don't care who your mother, brother, significant other is. Wife, spouse, whatever you want to call it. Civil union, marriage. I don't care what you want to call it. Makes no difference to me. I don't care if you're gay, straight. I don't care. I want you to do is be prosperous as Americans. I don't care the color of your skin, what ethnic group you belong to. Doesn't matter. And I don't think Donald Trump cares. I think he wants everybody to be successful. America first. What we're trying to do is bring America back to the strength it was before. We lost a lot of respect all over the world. They want to do is make us to where we run as one global organization. I'm sorry, but I don't want to be run by somebody that doesn't live in the United States. But you got, schools, they call it Cupcake Nation, I talk about that. Well, apparently University of Pennsylvania reportedly provides students upset over the results of the election with emotional support puppies, coloring books, and chocolate. I'm like, are you kidding me? He said there were actual cats and puppies there, told Tancredi, told the College Fix. There were sheets of paper available with black and white printed signs on them to color in, especially, essentially they look like pages from a coloring book. They're printed from a computer. They had all positive, feel-good messages on them. It said students colored them in with colored pencils. I'm like, are you kidding me? they had a vote on their campus. It says that some professors turn their classes into safe spaces in which students could freely express their concerns for their futures. On a campus that voted 3,612 to 375 in favor of Hillary Clinton. It just amazes me how as much as they heard about Hillary Clinton and her criminal activity, people still voted for her. I just can't believe it. Amazes me. And what is the, they had fear of immigration. That was one thing. Oh, they're going to deport 11 million illegals. No, it's impossible to deport them. I would like to see him deport the criminal illegals. I want to see them lower taxes, fix Obamacare, and secure our borders. That would be the main thing. But you hear reports. One right now, LAPD will not help deport immigrants under Trump, chief says. Well, then I would do is if he doesn't want to do is follow the laws of the land, the federal laws. Los Angeles Police Chief Charlie Beck said Monday he has no plans to change the LAPD stance on immigration enforcement. He said, for decades, the LAPD has distanced itself from federal immigration policies. The LAPD prohibits officers from initiating contact with someone solely to determine whether he or she is in this country legally. Mandated by special order signed by Chief Darrell Gates in 1979, during Beck's tenure as chief, the department stopped turning over people arrested on low-level crimes to federal agents for deportation and moved away from honoring federal requests to detain inmates who might be deportable past jail terms. So in other words, he's violating law. He says, that is not our job. He says, we're not going to work in conjunction with Homeland Security on deportation efforts. That is not our job, nor will I make it our job. I don't understand how you think the job can be done for Border Patrol if you don't have people that are going to help you. And LAPD to sit there and say, nope, we're not going to help you. Well, either is Chicago. The Chicago Rahm Emanuel says will always remain a sanctuary city. You think about for them, it's okay for them to violate the law. If you had LAPD chief that tried to go against President Obama, they would do everything in their power to get that person removed. So, it says, we also have in the news they're talking about Cal exit, or Oregon exit, whatever. They're talking about the West Coast wanting to do like Brexit and leave the United States. Well, I guess from what the laws are, that you'd have to have the other states agree to it before it could actually be ratified. They've had close votes before, not with California, but California's talking about it. But think about all the things that would be involved with a Cal exit if it came down to it. And what they would be able to do, for what they would lose right away. Well, if they decided to leave the United States, and if it actually went through, first of all, there would be food stamps that would be government-assisted food stamps to all the people on food stamps or welfare, like Section 8 houses and stuff like that, would automatically be gone. They'd have to be provided by the California itself. The National Head Start lunch program for anybody in California would be gone. Head Start would be gone. State Children's Assistance Program would be gone. Women, Infants, and Children WIC program would be gone. Foster care would be gone. Child care mandatory and matching funds would be gone. The school breakfast program would be gone. State highway and roads funding that come from federal government would be gone. Any military would be moved out of there, moved back, and be gone. Anybody, any airport, anything like that, all of that, to go to California, you would need a passport. For the Californians to go into the United States, they'd need a passport. If they wanted to do is Cal exit. And that's just the beginning. That's not talking about all the postal worker jobs that would be the United States postal workers would no longer be employed in, they'd only be handling mail from California. They would be California postal workers. You would have all the power that they get from Hoover Dam that's used in it. They would have to pay for the power from Hoover Dam. More. It would be quite a bit of a shock to them, I think, when everything got cut off at once. I think they might vote on it, and then all of a sudden, if it were able to go through, all of a sudden these people would get their food stamps and all their stuff cut off, and they'd be like, wait a minute, what happened? Not realizing that what their vote would cost. So it would change quite a bit, because if they wanted to do the whole West Coast pretty much. Well, one thing they would be able to do is their agricultural stuff that they, you talk about stuff that they lead in. They are probably the leading producer of grapes, dates, almonds, a bunch of other stuff like that. And they would be able to sell them to the United States, as you would call it. But it would probably be, a little bit different. They do lead with the technology companies. You got Hewlett-Packard, Apple, Intel, Cisco, Google, Oracle, DirecTV. You look at the other big companies. You got Qualcomm, You got Chevron, Wells Fargo, which is kind of shrinking right now. McKesson, Intel. Well, Intel, I already said that. Safeway, Walt Disney, Northrop Grumman, Ingram Micro, Occidental Petroleum, Amgen, Gap, PG&E, HealthNet, Edison International, Jacobs Engineering, Western Digital, Applied Materials, eBay, Sempra Energy, Cenex, Visa. So, I mean, you think about some of the companies that they have there. It says nationwide fast food chains, I guess, that are enterprise retailing in the mid-20th century, particularly fast food that come from chains that come from California, A&W restaurants, McDonald's, Taco Bell, and Panda Express were all founded in California. So you think about, is it possible to do it? Yes. Do I think it will go through? No, because I think there's a lot of people that would vote against it. I would hope it didn't go through. I just think it's amazing that how immediately they are so upset about the results that they want to leave. Would they have wanted to leave if Hillary got elected? Nope. So another thing is if you do leave, which the rest of the states that are Democratic, so take away, if that was 55 electoral votes that were automatically in the Democrats' pocket. So if she had 228, take away 55 from that. It's going to be a lot harder for a Democrat to win office without California in its back pocket. Take that out. Take California, Oregon, Washington, or Seattle, or whatever it is. You're looking at 65, 70 votes right off the bat that go almost predominantly to the Democrats. So you would have to do is, instead of getting 270, you might have to get 235. It's going to be a lot tougher for, or maybe even less. I don't know what you would be total. But there's 500 and some votes. Take away, maybe 80 votes off of there. So you take 40 off. It'd be 230. All right, so let's say you got to get 230 to make it. It's a lot easier to get to 230 than it is 270. It's a lot harder for the Democrats when you take away predominantly almost 80 votes of theirs that they get almost every time it's a lock. So and some people go, we need to go back to the popular vote. I think when it comes down and it's all set and added up, which a lot of websites won't update the adding. I've heard that actually Donald Trump is taking a lead in the popular vote, but they won't report it. I've heard some people report that he has taken the lead, but they won't report it out. So, I don't know. It's sad that they won't report it, but it doesn't surprise me. We have talking about the big winners for for the election. Yeah, I think that it's going to eventually, if he gets inaugurated, I've heard rumors that they're going to try to kill him before the election. Hopefully that's only just BS talk. I just can't believe that people are that psycho about wanting to do is take somebody out. So there was a Princeton polling expert, and he was on CNN, and he made a promise that if Donald Trump got elected, he'd eat a bug live on TV. And he held to that promise. He actually did. Took a bowl of bugs and ate a bug on CNN to honor his promise. Gross. We had a guy made a comment to another guy for the Cubs. The Cubs win. And he said, they were at the golf course, and he told the guy, he goes, Cubs are 3 games down. They're getting ready to go in game 5. And they had to win 5, 6, and 7 to get the World Series. And he says to his playing partner, one of them, he goes, I'll tell you what, if the Cubs win 3 in a row, he says, I'll give you a blowjob right here on the first tee. After game 7, all the guys are harassing him. So when you paying up? He was like all embarrassed. He couldn't believe that actually came true. He goes, I thought it was a good bet. So, yeah, you never make a bet that involves any type of, sex like that, because you just don't do it. I'm sorry. I'm not, I'm not going to do is make any bets like that where it involves any type of, or me performing any fellatio for anybody. Sorry. Nope, just not going to happen. What was it? We had, this was a kind of a crazy, actually, I won't get into that one. I'm going to get into some other topic. And I'm going to have them probably on my show. I want to do is have her on, but this, I went to a seminar tonight, right before I came on. I might go a couple minutes over because of this, and this is a very good product. Very, very good seminar. Hold this up to the camera if you can see it. And it says, this is let me see if you can see, anybody see the card. It says, and we'll read what it says on the card. And it talks about, it's about teenage suicide. Not even just teenage, it could be any suicide. So this ribbon is a lifeline. And it's got a ribbon on it with a heart in the top of the ribbon. So it carries this message that are there for those who care and will help. If you're in need and don't know how to ask for help, it says take this card to a counselor, teacher, clergy, parent, or friend and say, I need to use my yellow ribbon. It says the yellow ribbon program is in loving memory of Michael Emmy. On the back side of the card, it says this card is a cry for help. Stay with the person. You are their lifeline. Listen. Really listen. Take them seriously. Get or call help immediately. Get help now. 1-800-SUICIDE or 1-800-273-TALK. It's a 24-hour-a-day hotline, toll-free. It's in loving memory of Jeff Knutson. It's a Yellow Ribbon Suicide Prevention Program at yellowribbon.org. And the phone number for it is 303-429-3530. The lady that was talking about the program, her son committed suicide when he was a sophomore in high school. Everybody goes, oh, yeah, you should have saw that coming or whatever. He was an average student. Not the best straight A student, not the worst student. Not the most popular, not the least popular. Played on the football team, not the star quarterback, but not the worst player. He was just an average kid. He was a Eagle Scout, just got his Eagle Scout, was He was a lifeguard. He'd joking with his mom before she went to go run some errands. He was rode his bike over to his grandpa and grandma's house. He was on his way to work as a lifeguard. What he did was he rode to his grandparents' house and wrote a suicide note and committed suicide. And he listed out all his friends, but what they should do with their life and how they should raise his sister. Mom and dad should raise their sister. And just, it was 16 years ago. I got to give the lady credit being able to stand up there and talk about it. It's one of these topics that people don't like to bring up. They don't like to talk about because it's like, ooh, that taboo topic. Ooh. It's like the sex talk, for young kids. But, people talking about, suicide. We lose vets every day because of it. And to think about what happens when kids commit suicide. I have one guy, I know him. He is one of my reps. He reps products. I won't mention which product. He was telling me about how his daughter was having so much problems at school. And I was like, oh, it's just, she was a freshman in college. And I was like talking with him and I go, yeah. I said, my daughter was the same way, blah, 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 whatever. And he just like, oh yeah, she's having so much trouble. And I, God, if she makes it through the first semester, she'd be great. 3 weeks later, she committed suicide. Didn't even see, she was even in school with her brother, twin brother was there. So I'm like going, you didn't, you just don't realize what demon somebody has, or they think that's the easy way out. Don't make a permanent decision for a temporary solution. Or a permanent solution for a temporary problem. Get help. Everybody's got the stigma. Oh my God, it's mental health. Oh my God. I don't care. Rename it. Call it something else. Call it, some type of therapy or something. I don't care. But do something. Don't sit there and make that drastic decision, because it doesn't alleviate the problem for you. It just creates the hardship for everybody that you leave, and you don't realize you're doing it. You think you're getting out, making it, oh, I'm leaving it, getting out of that, that the problems that I've had, and I'm letting them go and getting them all behind me. No, you're making it worse for everybody else. You think people don't care or whatever. Nobody's going to miss me when I'm gone. They do. So, think about it. You need help. Tell them you want to use your yellow ribbon. So think about that yellow ribbon. I'm going to get her on to talk, hopefully, and talk about this and get this awareness out, because it makes so much. It's so scary to think of a young kid. We had one recently within the last couple of years that was 12 years old that committed suicide. She was a young girl. They get this Facebook and everything, and they feel like they don't fit up to everybody's expectations. And these people on Facebook are just so cruel. And people take it to heart. So, well, hopefully people will get help. And we'll talk about this subject later. But everybody, I'm a few minutes over, but everybody have a great night. A great week. We'll see you on Wednesday night. And most of all, like I say, be safe. Get the music to play. Cue the music.